I have a brand new effect to share with you today, and for this you need the 4 7s and the 4 8s and 2 jokers. Now there is something about the jokers that you may not be aware of. They really don't like each other, okay? And I think that will become clear during this routine. Okay, so what we need to do is just randomly stack the 7s and the 8s. Maybe we'll set aside the jokers just for a moment. Oh, they don't like each other. Keep them separated. On opposite ends, that's probably the best. There we go. Okay, no issues with them then if they're far enough away from each other. How would you like this stacked? The bottom on the top? Okay, very good. Now what I'm going to do is it's called an even up jog. So this is where you jog forward the even position cards, those in positions 2, 4, 6, 8, with random stacking decided by you. You want right on left? And why don't we do a second one to really begin to mix the cards here? Okay, how would you like these stacked? Left on right this time. That's just fine. Now we're going to go ahead and spell out the names of our cards, namely 7s and 8s. So 7s, S-E-V-E-N-S. And then 8s, E-I-G-H-T-S. Okay, 7s and 8s. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sandwich our packet of 8 between these 2 jokers that don't like each other, as you'll see. So at this point, what we're going to do is just deal out the cards into 2 piles with random stacking decided by you, the spectator. You can decide how to stack these. You want right on left? Okay, that's a good choice. Why is that a good choice? Because the jokers are still far away from each other. And everyone will be happier if that's the case. Okay, how would you like to stack this time? Right on left again. Good choice. The jokers are still on opposite ends. Okay. Well, at some point, you or the spectator will likely say, stack the left on the right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. Well, what has that done? Oh, it's brought those 2 jokers together. Okay, and I don't know if you can feel the energy, negative energy between them. I think we better separate those again. Okay. Now at this point we're also going to mix the cards using the Klondike shuffle, but it's a scary one because look what it does. It's brought the jokers together. Okay, we cannot leave them together for very long, otherwise the universe implodes. Okay, so we have the jokers together. Let's move this guy quickly to the top. Would you like to do another Klondike? One more? Okay, we can do that. So we'll Klondike again. We've got to move those jokers as quickly as our little fingers will move. Maybe we'll move this one. As long as they're kind of kept on opposite ends most of the time, I think we're safe. Why don't we go ahead and do an up jog with the jokers in place? That's kind of interesting. Okay, like this. Strip those out. How would you like these stacked? Right on left. Excellent choice. Why is that? Because the jokers are still on opposite ends. Okay, so we're safe. Okay, let's do another one of these. Well, at some point, you or the spectator's probably going to say, stack left on right. Oh, that's a problem there. That's going to cause issues. Let's move the jokers to the end again. Okay, and then maybe one more mixing procedure that we can perform as many times as you like is a mange over, under, or under, over. Which of those 2 would you like? Over, under. Okay, so we'll go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay, how have we done? Well, we've done fairly well, but I think those jokers are just a little bit close together for comfort. Okay, so we'll move those again. Would you like to do any additional mange? An under, over. Okay, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay, where are those jokers again? Well, they're getting kind of close to each other. Let's move this guy to the end where they're both happiest. Okay, so how do I know? So you might be thinking, how do I know that the jokers don't like each other? Well, let me prove it to you. I'm going to go ahead and place both jokers in the middle. Right smack in the middle. Next to each other. I can feel the repulsive force between them, but I'm going to slide them in there anyway. And observe what happens when we do a left-right shuffle here. What you're going to observe is that these two jokers with random stacking are clearly and immediately going to move away from each other. They were both in the middle, and now they've moved a total of 4 cards apart. Okay? Still not convinced that the jokers don't like each other since they've moved away from each other? Okay, well, this will prove it. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, we're going to perform the left-right dealing one final time, like this. And what I believe will happen, and I'm warning you now to watch out for this, but pushing our luck on those jokers, having them too close together for too long, their animosity for each other poisons the 7s against the 8s. How do I know that? Well, let's just take a look. It happens every time. The enmity between these jokers has transferred to the 7s against the 8s. So let's just take a look here. Ooh, 7. 7. These two groups are now preparing for civil war. That's how much these jokers have turned these otherwise friendly cards against each other. Okay, wow. In fact, we shouldn't have these too close together, right? We'll have to put them far apart there. Okay, so how does this work? Well, just do everything that I did. It will work perfectly. You could obviously modify the narrative if you like, but part of the secret is at the very beginning, the jokers are sandwiching a Bessey sequence of order 8 relative to 7s and 8s, and you can perform all of the shuffles that I showed you as long as you move the jokers to the outer ends, if necessary, before performing additional mixing. And if you put them in the middle at the very end to drive home the point that these jokers really dislike each other, performing 2 left-right shuffles with random stacking will end up separating the 7s from the 8s in exactly the way shown here. Okay, so I can add a link to Bessey sequences if you haven't heard of those before, as well as a list of applications of these remarkable packet structures that allow us to mix the cards in so many ways without losing all knowledge of the structure of the packet. So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Map Magic channel.